In this video, I'm just going to go through some quick examples. We've been talking a lot about surface area, and we have specifically looked at surface area of prisms and cylinders. The prisms we've looked at have rectangular or triangular bases. So I just want to create kind of a quick guide video on how to do each type of problem. So we'll start off with this shape here, which is a rectangular prism, and our goal is to find the total surface area and the lateral surface area. The first thing we're always going to do is redraw the base, and they've actually shaded the base for us on the bottom here. So I'm redrawing as best as I can this rectangle. Off to the side, I'm going to redraw that rectangle. It looks kind of just like this. It's a little slanted because I'm trying to make it look just like the rectangle in the picture, so it's easier for me to label all of my sides. This side here is 8 centimeters, and then this side here is 11 centimeters. Now this is a rectangle, so all of these really should be 90-degree angles. That is everything I know about the base. To find surface area, total surface area and lateral surface area, we're using the formulas. This is a prism. So to find total surface area, we need to use the formula pH plus 2b. And to find lateral surface area, we're using the formula pH. So we need to make a list of the variables that we need. We need capital P, capital B, and the lowercase h. The capital letters, or the big letters, come from the base, big letters from the base, and the small letter comes from the prism. Since the big letters come from the base, I'm just going to cover up the prism so I'm not tempted to look at it. This helps me keep all of my numbers from the correct spots. P stands for the perimeter of the base, and to find the perimeter, we just simply add all the sides. So adding all the sides would look like 8 plus 11 plus another 8 plus another 11. And 8 plus 11 plus 8 plus 11 is going to get us 2238. Capital P is 38. To find capital B, that's the area of the base, I have to use a formula. The formula we use to find the area of this shape, that's the area of a rectangle, is base times height. So we're looking at the base times the height of this shape, that's 11 times 8, which is 88. The lowercase h comes from the prism, big letters from the base, lowercase letter from the prism. So I can uncover my prism now. H specifically tells me how did I travel from one base to the other base. How far was my bottom stretched up to get to the top base? Or how far apart are those two bases? That would be this line here, which is 3. Now that we have P, B, and H, we're ready to find total surface area and lateral surface area. I'm going to put a set of parentheses, or a bubble, everywhere I see a letter. I've written the formula once as letters. Now I'm going to fill in all of the letters with a number. This bubble is in place of P, and P is 38. This bubble is in place of H, and H is 3. And this bubble is in place of capital B, and the area of the base is 88. Now I can use my calculator, and we can actually type all of this in. What I prefer to do is use order of operations and just type this first part in, 38 times 3. We get 114. Plus 2 times 88 is 176. I know I'm adding this number and this number because between the two multiplication problems we had an addition sign. So 114 plus 176 is 290. So the total surface area of this rectangular prism is 290. This is a type of area, so this is measured in centimeters squared. I like breaking this problem up because now when I look at the lateral surface area, I'm using just the formula pH. pH is part of my total surface area formula as well. So pH is 38 times 3, which we already know is 114. This is a type of area, lateral surface area, so the centimeters that we were measuring in are squared. Just to recap, we redrew the base and made a list of the variables. Then we found the perimeter of the base, the area of the base by using a formula, and the height of the prism which connected our two bases. After we had that list, then we could use our formulas. Next I've got a cylinder. We want to find the total surface area and the lateral surface area. The total surface area formula is 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. And the lateral surface area formula is 2 pi RH. You could get those from your star chart. I have them right here. Before we begin, we're going to redraw the base, which is a circle. And I'm going to label what I know about the circle. This line goes all the way across the circle, so I know what D is. D is 25 meters. We've gotten in the habit of every time we see a circle, we write down the diameter, the radius, and an approximation for pi. Since this problem doesn't specify what to use for pi, I'm going to use 3.14. To find the radius, we need half of the diameter. So we're taking 25 and cutting it in half, or dividing it by 2. Half of 25 is 12.5. Now I have d, r, and pi. In my formulas, we use pi, r, and h throughout our formulas. So we still have to find h, which stands for the height of the cylinder. That's how we go from one base to the other base. How is this circle stretched out to make the cylinder? Or how far apart are my two circles? I didn't write a height down because I goofed up. We're going to call this 75 meters. So those two bases are 75 meters apart, which means the height is 75 meters. Now we're ready to plug in our formulas. We've written the formulas once as letters. Now we're going to fill all of the letters in with numbers. This is 2, and in place of pi, I can put 3.14. In place of r, I can put 12.5. And in place of h, we can use 75. Plus 2, in place of pi, we can put 3.14. And in place of r squared, we're going to take the radius, but we have to square it, so that's 12.5 squared. Just like we did earlier, I'm going to break up all of my multiplication and then the other set of multiplication. And because there's a plus sign between those two, we're going to add those together. Now I can use my calculator. We're going to type in 2 times 3.14 times 12.5 times 75. We get 5,887 and a half. 5,887 and a half. The next multiplication problem is 2 times 3.14 times 12.5 squared. I like to use this, just to get the square, I like to use the caret top, and then our exponent is a 2. I like that because on the calculators I have you guys use in class, the TI-84, once you use the caret top, you get a little blinking box where the exponent would go. And you can type in 2 and it looks just like the problem on your page. After we type all of that in, we get 981 and a quarter, 981 and 25 hundredths. Now that I have both products, we can add them together for the total surface area. We have 5,887.5 plus 981.25. Add those together and the total surface area is 6,868.75. This is a type of area, total surface area, so the units that we're measuring in have to be squared. I ran out of room for lateral surface area off to the side, so I'm just going to move this below here. Maybe I'll get another sheet of paper also. So lateral surface area uses the formula 2 pi r h. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. We're going to rewrite, we have our formula in letters. Now we're going to rewrite our formula but using numbers. 2, in place of pi, we can put 3.14. In place of r, we can put 12.5. And in place of h, we can put 75. 2 times 3.14 times 12.5 times 75. Another reason I like doing total surface area first, even for cylinders, is because the first part of the formula for total surface area is the formula for lateral surface area. You could get your calculator and type that all in again. That's 2 times 3.14. You can't see what I'm typing. 2 times 3.14 times 12.5 times 75. That gives us 5,887.5. We already knew that because we've already typed that in our calculator before. So the lateral total surface area is 5,887.5. This is a type of area, so the meters are squared. We've got one more type of problem that we're going to look at, and that is finding the surface area of a triangular prism. So that's a prism with triangular bases. We want the total surface area and the lateral surface area. The formula for the total surface area of a prism is pH plus 2b. The formula for lateral surface area of a prism is pH. I'm going to redraw the base, and again, I'm going to redraw the base as best as I can to make it look just like the triangle in my picture so that it's easier for me to label. So we've got kind of a straight horizontal line, and then that opens to the right at a really big angle, and then we connect those two lines, or points. The horizontal line right here was 5 inches, and the line going down and to the right, that's this line here, which isn't labeled on this triangle, but on the matching triangle it's labeled as 3. So that's a 3 inches, and then the other side, the longer side, is 11 inches. We also know that the line in the middle is 2 inches, and the line in the middle also makes a right angle. Now I'm going to make a list of the letters that we need to find. We need to find a capital P, a lowercase h, and a capital B. We need P, B, and H. Big letters, capital letters, come from the base, and the small letter comes from the prism. I'm going to look at the big letters first. Big letters come from the base, so I cover up the prism. That helps me make sure that all of my numbers are coming from the right spot. Capital P is the perimeter of this. To find the perimeter of that shape, you add all of the sides. 5 plus 3 plus 11. Note we're not adding the 2 because the 2 is on the inside and perimeter goes around the rim of the shape. 5 plus 3 plus 11. 8 plus 11 is 19. So the perimeter of the base is 19 units long. Our units are inches. You could say 19 inches. Capital B stands for the area of the base. Capital B stands for the area of the base, and to find that, we have to use a formula. Now to find the area of a triangle, the formula we use is half base times height. And we remember that base times height must make a 90-degree angle. Here is a 90-degree angle. That 90-degree angle is formed by the 2-inch side and the 11-inch side. So base and height have to be 2 and 11. So 1/2 times 2 times 11. Half of 2 is 1, and 1 times 11 is 11. So big B is 11 units squared, or inches squared, because that's an area. We have our big letters. We got the big letter from the base. Now we're going to get the small letter from the prism. So I need to uncover the prism. H tells me the height of the figure. That's just how far apart are the two bases, or how was this triangle stretched to form the triangular prism. This triangle was stretched out 7 inches long. So the height is 7 inches. We've redrawn the base and made a list of what variables we need to find, and we found the variables. Now we get to plug all of this stuff into our formulas for total surface area and lateral surface area, which we've previously written down. I'm going to put a set of parentheses, or a bubble, everywhere I see a letter. I've written my formula once as a letter. Now I'm going to rewrite my formula using numbers. This parentheses is in place of P, and the perimeter of the base was 19. So I put a 19 in that bubble. The next set of parentheses is in place of H, and H is 7. So I put a 7 in that bubble. The next set of parentheses is in place of capital B. Big B, or the area of the base, is 11. I put an 11 in that bubble. 19 times 7, you can use your calculators. 19 helps if they're on. 19 times 7 is 133. 2 times 11 is 22. We used order of operations, so we did the multiplication first. Now we have to do the addition. 133 plus 22. This A and S means it's going to take the answer from the previous problem. So 133 plus 22 is 155. So the total surface area of this triangular prism is 155. That's a type of area, so our units are inches squared. Now to find lateral surface area, we're using the formula pH. I've written my formula once as letters. Now I'm going to write it once as numbers. We already know that pH can be replaced with 19 times 7. P times H is the same as 19 times 7. It's because the perimeter of the base was 19 and the height of the prism is 7. 19 times 7, we've already typed this in before, is 133. This is a type of area, so 133 is inches squared. I've got 133 inches squared for the lateral surface area. That is one problem of each type of surface area that you are responsible for in 8th grade. I hope this video helps as you go through all of your surface area endeavors in the future. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out to me. You can easily reach me via Schoology, email, or drop a comment on the video, and I'd be glad to get back to you as soon as I can.